grow, it will become something even greater than you imagined. And they're about to get the opportunity of a lifetime to prove it, because Europe is entering an age of wars, big ones, bloody ones, expensive ones, the kind of wars that bankrupt nations and create opportunities for those with capital and courage. The 18th century wars were limited. Professional armies fighting for limited objectives. When things got too expensive or too bloody, people sat down and negotiated, made peace, redrew some borders, and went home. The 19th century wars are different. They're ideological, they're total. They're the kind of conflicts that don't end in negotiation. They end when one side can't fight anymore. And fighting costs money, lots and lots of money. Nations need to finance these wars. They need gold, weapons, supplies, and credit. And the Rothschild banking houses, now spread across Europe's major cities, are perfectly positioned to provide all of it. For a price, obviously. A very good price. By 1814, Britain has been at war with Napoleon for what feels like forever. The Duke of Wellington is winning battle after battle, pushing Napoleon's forces back toward France. This is it, the big push, the one that could end the war. Wellington plans to take the fight directly to French soil. There's just one problem, a big, expensive, logistical nightmare of a problem. Wellington needs French coins, not British pounds. French coins, lots of them. See, when you're running a military campaign in enemy territory, you can't just show up and expect people to accept your money. The French aren't taking British pounds. Why would they? They're at war with Britain. You need local currency to buy supplies, pay informants, keep the army moving. Without French coins, Wellington's invasion is dead in the water. The British government is freaking out. Wellington's campaign is already stretching them thin financially. They've been at war for years. The Treasury is feeling it, and now they need to somehow acquire massive amounts of French currency during a war with France. It's like asking for ice in the desert. Technically possible, but good luck. Nathan Rothschild hears about this problem and sees dollar signs, or pound signs technically. This is the opportunity he's been waiting for, the kind of deal that doesn't just make you rich, it makes you legendary. It establishes you as the guy who saved Britain's war effort, the banker who delivered when governments couldn't. But there's a catch. Actually, there are several catches. First, you need to acquire huge amounts of gold. Then you need to convert that gold into French coins. Then you need to somehow transport those coins through a war zone to Wellington's army in France. Oh, and you need to do all of this faster than the British government can figure out an alternative solution, because if they find another way, your opportunity evaporates. Most people would look at this situation and say it's impossible. Too many moving parts, too much risk, too complicated. Nathan looks at it and thinks, I got this. Here's what Nathan does. The East India Company, which is basically running half of Asia for Britain at this point, has £800,000 worth of gold sitting around. They want to sell it. Nathan shows up at the sale and buys all of it. Every single ounce, the entire lot. He just drops the cash and walks away with enough gold to sink a ship. Multiple ships, actually. Now he's got the gold. But that's just step one. He needs to convert this into French coins and get it to Wellington. The British government is panicking because they have no idea how to move this amount of currency through a war zone. You can't just load it onto a ship and hope for the best. The French Navy might intercept it, pirates might grab it, it could sink in a storm. There are so many ways this could go wrong. Nathan tells them he'll handle everything. The acquisition, the conversion, the transportation, the whole operation. He's got the connections. He's got the smuggling routes he's been building for years. He's got people in France who can move goods quietly. This is exactly the kind of grey area business he's been perfecting. The British government doesn't really have a choice. They need this done, and they need it done now. So they agree. Nathan gets to work. He moves the gold across Europe using his network. Remember those banking houses his father set up in different cities? Vienna, Naples, Paris, Frankfurt, London. They're all connected. They all work together. Nathan can move money through this network faster than anyone else because he's not dealing with random banks who don't trust each other. He's dealing with his brothers, his family, people he knows will deliver. The gold gets converted to French coins. The coins get smuggled into France through routes Nathan's people have been using for years, and it all arrives exactly where Wellington needs it, exactly when he needs it. The campaign moves forward. Wellington pushes into France. The war effort doesn't collapse due to lack of funds. Nathan later describes this as the best business I ever did, and he's not exaggerating. This deal establishes the Rothschild name at the highest levels of British power. The government now knows that when they have an impossible financial problem, the Rothschilds can solve it. That's worth more than the profit from this one deal. That's access, that's influence, that's power. And the profit isn't bad either. The commission alone is huge, but Nathan also makes money on the currency conversion, on the transportation, on managing the whole operation. He's getting paid at every step, just like he learned from his father. Europe by the mid-1800s has turned into a war zone. Countries are fighting constantly, and every war needs money. Starting a war, you need money. Losing a war, you usually have to pay the winner. The foreign exchange market becomes critical because nations need to move money across borders, convert currencies, finance operations in enemy territory. For the Rothschild banking houses, this is a gold mine, literally. They've got banks in all the major cities. They can facilitate currency exchanges between countries that are actively at war with each other. They charge high fees, sometimes as much as 8%, because they're providing a service nobody else can match. They've got the network, they've got the trust, they've got the speed. But the commission fees are honestly just a small part of their income. The real money, the absolutely insane money, comes from currency speculation. And this is where the Rothschild information network becomes a weapon. Think about how news traveled in the 1800s. Slowly. By horse, by ship, by messenger, on foot. If something happened in Paris, it might take days or even weeks for London to hear about it. And in that time gap, in that information delay, fortunes could be made or lost. The Rothschilds understand that in finance, information is everything and speed is king. So they build the fastest private communication network in Europe. They use private carriers. They use well-trained horses that can ride day and night. They even use carrier pigeons for urgent messages. Pigeons are way faster than horses for short distances, and the Rothschilds breed and train them specifically for financial intelligence. Here's how this works. Let's say there's a major battle. Napoleon wins, or Wellington wins, or somebody important dies, or a government collapses. Whatever the news is, it moves through normal channels slowly, but the Rothschild network hears about it first. Sometimes hours ahead of everyone else, sometimes a full day ahead. And in that window, before the market reacts, before anyone else knows what happened, they can buy or sell currencies. If they know France is about to win a major battle, they buy French bonds before the price goes up. If they know Britain just suffered a defeat, they sell British currency before it drops. They're always one step ahead, always trading on information nobody else has yet. This is insider trading before insider trading even has a name. It's legal because there are basically no financial regulations. It's just smart business. Ruthless, maybe. Unfair, definitely. But legal and wildly profitable. The profits from currency speculation absolutely dwarf everything else. The commission fees are nice, the loan interest is solid, but speculation, that's where the real wealth gets built. Nathan's making more money in a single day of trading than most people see in their entire lives. The London house's profits keep rolling in, year after year, deal after deal. Nathan's reputation grows. He's no longer just the son of a Frankfurt banker. He's not even just a successful London merchant. He's the banker, the guy kings and governments come to when they need money. The man who can move markets with a single decision. Nathan becomes the richest man in the world. Not in London, not in Britain. In the world. The wealth is almost incomprehensible. He's got more money than some countries have in their entire treasuries. And he's still in his 50s, still young enough to enjoy it, still hungry enough to want more. But even the richest man in the world can't defeat the one enemy that eventually comes for everyone. July 28th. 1836. Nathan Rothschild wakes up feeling wrong. Something's off. He's been feeling sick for a while, but this is different. Worse. His body is shutting down and he knows it. The doctors are called, but there's not much they can do. Medicine in 1836 is basically guesswork mixed with prayer. Nathan dies at age 58, which is weird because the Rothschild family is known for living long lives. His mother is still alive and she's gonna live past 90, but Nathan's gone, the richest man in the world, dead before 60. The London Times actually gets emotional about it, which for a British newspaper is like seeing a unicorn. They write that Nathan's death is one of the most important events for the city and perhaps for Europe in a long time. No operations comparable to his have existed in Europe to this time. Think about that. A banker dies and it's treated like a head of state passing. That's the level of influence Nathan had built. He wasn't just rich, he was a force of nature. His decisions moved markets. His loans could win or lose wars. His death is genuinely a big deal for the entire European economy. The markets react immediately. British bonds fluctuate. Currency traders panic. Everyone's asking the same question. What happens to the House of Rothschild now? Is this the end? Will the brothers fight over control? Will the whole empire collapse without Nathan holding it together? But here's the thing. Mayor Amschel's last lesson to his sons, that family unity above all else. They took it seriously. Nathan might be gone, but the system he helped build doesn't need one man. The banking houses are set up to work together. The network still functions. The information still flows. The money still moves. Nathan's younger brother James, running the Paris bank, steps up as the de facto leader, and James is not intimidated by following Nathan. If anything, he sees it as his chance to prove he's just as capable, maybe more capable. James is different from Nathan. He had better schooling. He's more refined, more comfortable in aristocratic circles. Nathan was the scrappy fighter who built the London Empire through sheer force of will. James is the strategic thinker who can play the long game. Where Nathan saw opportunities and grabbed them, James sees trends and positions himself ahead of them. But taking over as head of the family during this moment, with Nathan's death still fresh, the pressure is massive. The banking world is watching, competitors are circling. Everyone wants to know if the Rothschilds can maintain their dominance, or if Nathan was the secret source and now it's over. James looks at the situation and realizes something. Government bonds and war financing are still profitable, sure, but the market is getting saturated. More banks are getting into the game. The competition is eating away at profit margins. The deals that made Nathan's fortune aren't as lucrative anymore because everyone's doing them now. James needs a new edge, a new industry, something the Rothschilds can dominate before everyone else catches on. He needs to think bigger than just financing wars. Wars end, industries last forever. He looks at what's happening across Europe and sees the future rolling toward him on iron rails. Railroads, they're expanding fast. England built the Stockton-Darlington line in 1825, and suddenly everyone realizes this is going to change everything. Transportation, trade, industrial growth. Railroads are connecting cities that used to be days apart. They're making goods cheaper to move. They're opening up markets that were previously too remote to reach. This is it. This is the next big thing, and James wants the Rothschilds to own as much of it as possible. Throughout the 1840s, the Rothschild banks provide financing for railroad ventures across Europe. They're not just lending money, they're taking equity positions, they're getting involved in the construction, they're trading railroad stocks and bonds. Every time a new line gets built, the Rothschilds are making money from the financing, from the trading, from the increased value of their holdings. And James is clever about risk management. He uses other people's money whenever possible. He creates syndicates, basically groups of investors who pool their capital for big projects. The Rothschilds put in some money, but most of the risk is spread across the syndicate. If the project succeeds, the Rothschilds make huge returns on relatively small investments. If it fails, they're not wiped out. This is sophisticated financial engineering. Most bankers are still doing straightforward lending. James is creating complex financial structures that maximize profit while minimizing risk. He's thinking 3 moves ahead. The railroad boom makes the Rothschilds even richer. The wealth keeps compounding. But here's something you need to understand about this period. While the Rothschilds and other banking families are accumulating unbelievable fortunes, regular people are struggling. The income gap between rich and poor is massive. The industrialists are making money as fast as possible by any means necessary, and worker conditions are brutal. 16-hour days in factories, child labor, poverty wages.